Hello and welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Dan Costa. He is Sascha Segan, and we've got a great show for you today. We're going to run down the top tech news. We're going to pull one cool thing off the shelf in the lab and answer some of your reader questions. Sascha, let's get right to the biggest news of the day. These leaks keep coming. This one is that the NSA is using the UPS to actually intercept computers on their way to deliveries and install spyware on them. Does this story ever end?
This is getting to the point where it's one of those in Soviet Russia jokes. I don't know if you guys listening know this style of joke, but basically it's like, in Soviet Russia, webcams, you. Okay, like the NSA, we live in a totalitarian surveillance state. Surprise! You thought it was a constitutional democracy, but no, there is no oversight, there is no regulation, there is apparently just rubber stamping idiot monkey judges, you know, just drooling on the papers and doing whatever the NSA wants them to all the time.
So this is the thing, this is a story that the latest story just came out in Der Spiegel. They don't say where they got the document, but obviously it's from this part of the Snowden package. And they're documents that basically explain how the NSA cracks systems, and not just how they're eavesdropping on wire lines that are, you know, telecommunication networks, but how they install software on routers, on switches, on firewalls, and directly go in and compromise these systems. And there's like a toolkit, and they can break into Cisco's routers, they can break into Huawei's routers, they can break into the hard drives on systems and actually install spyware on the BIOS. So that even if you wipe the hard drive, the spyware remains.
Is there any judge willing to stand up to these people, or does the NSA actually run the country? Can we just shut down democratic government now?
This is going to have to, there's going to have to be some oversight. There's going to have to be some regulation. You can get more details on PCMag.com or Der Spiegel. The story is actually excellent. I recommend you check it out. Also in the news today, somewhat less controversially, NPD has numbers out on new Chromebook sales, and surprisingly, 21% of all the laptops sold in 2013 were Chromebooks.
I think that's pretty controversial because nobody can find all of these Chromebooks in the web traffic stats.
I can find the ads on, there's plenty of ads for Chromebooks.
Right. But if NPD is saying, okay, so first of all, there's all sorts of shifty things about these NPD numbers. They say 21% of 2013 laptop sales are Chromebooks, but only 1.76 million Chromebooks have been sold. So really only like, what? That's like under 10 million laptops were sold. But also like less than 1% of web traffic by anyone's measure so far is Chromebooks. Now, given that Chromebooks basically do not exist when they're not on the web.
All they are is a laptop with a web browser that is always open.
Right. If you cannot connect a Chromebook to the web, then you have a pretty piece of plastic. Okay, why are these Chromebooks not showing up in the web traffic statistics? That's what I want to know.
It's a very good question. I mean, it's an interesting statistic. I think they're probably doing better than most people thought, but they're not doing that. I doubt that they're doing that well on the market. Also in the news, the CES announcements, the pre-CES announcements are still trickling out. Samsung has announced it's going to release a 110-inch UHD ultra-high definition TV for the low price of $150,000.
And I'm sure that tomorrow LG will announce their 111-inch TV for $153,000, because basically that's just what's happening now.
So this is the very high end of the market. They are not going to make a lot of these TVs. They say they've already gotten some orders, but this is a big leap forward. I think the largest ultra high def TV before this was 84 or 85 inches. So this is a big leap forward. But again, only of interest to people who have an extra $150,000 laying around.
Yeah, it's just a prestige product. It's just a prestige announcement. They're just trying to show off that they have the biggest and the best and the most powerful, you know, nothing to see here. And if you tried to see it, it would take up your entire field of vision.
Yep. You can read more about all those stories on PCMag.com. Now it's time for one quick question that we got in from Matt today. He wants to know what the best fitness tracker for working off those extra pounds are that you put on over the holidays. He's asking for a friend. So, you know, fitness tracking. Obviously, there's a lot of people overate over the holidays. We've tested a lot of fitness trackers here at PCMag.
First, we need to advise you that a fitness tracker will not actually make you more fit. It doesn't like electroshock your muscles or anything to magically help you reduce the poundage.
You still have to do the work. But our favorite Fitbit tracker right now is the Fitbit Force, which is you actually wear it on your wrist. It's a wearable tracker, which I tend to prefer, although I continue to lose them anyway. But it will track your movements. It will track how many steps you go. It will provide all this information to you in a handy little dashboard. It will motivate you to work out more and actually take more steps. So pretty effective. It's the best thing we've seen on the market. The Fitbit Force, you can read the full review on PCMag.com. Now, it is time for one cool thing. So we test thousands of products here in the lab every year, and every day we take one thing off the shelf and show it to you live on air. Today, that thing is the Phillip watch. Now, Sascha, you've actually been testing this, or should I say you've been helping to test this device.
Yeah, I've been testing this device, which is a safety and tracking phone watch for kids with my 7-year-old daughter, Nina. And it's been really convenient. It turns out that, so the Phillip will, it works in tandem with an Android or iOS app on a parent's smartphone, and it fits on the kid's wrist, and it lets you track them via GPS, but it also lets you call them.
It is a cell phone. It's a cell phone you can wear on your wrist.
But it's a very protected, secure phone that can only send and receive calls to and from 5 numbers that the parent pre-programs, that the kid has no control over. And I found that rather than, I would let her, go roam on the playground, whatever, rather than looking her up on the little GPS mappy thingy, I would just call her and I'd say, hey, Nina, where are you? And she'd say, oh, I'm by the swings. And it gave me this real peace of mind to know that I could get in touch with her, she could get in touch with me. When her mom was going to be late to pick her up from school one day, I just texted the watch and I said, Mom will be 10 minutes late, tell your teacher.
I think it's an amazing technology.
Yeah.
Like a walkie, so it's part walkie-talkie, part GPS locator, part emergency, emergency beacon, because it can also do that. That sounds like a fantastic device. I think any parent would want to get that. There's one small catch.
The problem is it's $199 up front plus $10 a month, and it doesn't work without the subscription fee. So you are paying $320 a year for this admittedly very useful device. And it gets to that question of, that great amorphous question of how much is affordable. And I just feel that $320 a year for this is not quite affordable for a lot of American families who might want this utility.
At the same time, I mean, when you compare it to a cell phone, and having a kid have a cell phone, this is going to be cheaper than your average cell phone, even your free cell phone. $10 a month is pretty great. It gives you a lot of control over. It gives you more control than your average cell phone would have.
Yeah. But I mean, there are a couple of other things. Like, it got scuffed up a little. At $200, what if the kid loses it? I guess it can be tracked via GPS. But it's a great technology. I just wish it cost a little less.
The Phillip watch, mixed. You can read Sascha's full review and see all of his thought process online at PCMag.com. That has been PCMag Live for today. I want to thank you for tuning in. Remember to send us your questions via email, on Twitter, on Instagram. We will answer them live on air. Thanks for tuning in.